So you're probably wondering, what the hell was that? And no, you are not on Mars. That, my friends, is infrared film, better known as aerochrome. Aerochrome is a 35 and 120 millimeter format. I guess it's a lot of formats. Oh my God, I might have to pause this video. I just sat down, poured my coffee, one sec. Yeah, that's a good brew. But there's 3 eagles sitting in this tree. I gotta show you this. Okay. All right. Look at that. Majestic morning. Now, if you've come to watch this video for a technical review, this is not it. I'm not technical. I'm going to give like 2 to 3 sentences of aerochrome, but I just intend to show you a roll that I shot in my favorite place. And so for my mom, family, friends watching this, I will describe it instead of photography nerds. And so aerochrome was made in the 1940s by Kodak for the military. And the intention was, with aerochrome, it's an infrared sensitive film. So what that means is green foliage, green leaves and such will reflect red when photographed, right? And so this had the ability, if you're flying in a plane or whatever, and you're taking photos and, you know, if something was camouflaged with fake leaves or whatever, it wouldn't reflect back red like actual leaves would. And that's really dumbing it down, but think about it that way. So whenever you see red, it used to be green. Anyways, so fast forward to today, aerochrome. So folks are photographing with it. I remember seeing Grainy Days for the first time shooting with it, I think 4 or 5 years ago. And at the time I didn't really like it. My partner Jill, she really liked it. And that kind of made me come around to it. Jill's the cool one in the relationship. And so, you know, I never really thought I'd get a chance to shoot with it. It's really expensive on aerochrome. In Canada, it's like, I don't know, $400 per roll, sometimes more, sometimes less. And you have no idea where it's coming from. It's not a reliable source. You don't know if it's going to be in good state. Good, I don't know. Man, let me take a sip of coffee. Maybe this will speed my brain up. And so you don't know if it's like been frozen cold or what. Anyways, it's just a big gamble. And so I think a year ago, Celluloid Collective out of New York posted an Instagram story that they found a big box of aerochrome and they're going to do a drop. Fast forward to that date, Jill's sister, her boyfriend, and Jill and I were all, you know, I think we had 6 devices between all of us trying to get it for the drop, and Jill managed to snag a roll. That is when the stress ensued. I thought that was the beginning, or like the most stressful part. But then you actually have the aerochrome and you're like, holy shit, what am I going to do? And so I'm thinking about this, and my goal for the roll was just to photograph like my perfect day. So Jill and I live in a really beautiful area on the west coast of Vancouver Island. You can see with the eagles, if I showed you earlier. It's just, there's a lot of greenery. It's technically a rainforest. Yeah, and so I wanted to do my perfect day here. So that includes surfing, some hikes, blah, 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 which you'll see later. And so I made a little shot list, and that was really cool for me because I've never cared about it that much. Like, okay, oh, maybe I'm going on a hike, 4-day backpacking trip, and I'm like looking at the sites and I'm like, oh man, like I'd love this photo or that photo. But I've never planned a single roll of film so much as this specific roll, where I had a shot list in my notes app and, you know, checking it off, and I'm only taking like 1, maybe 2 or 3 photos per selection or per area. So that was really fun. Anyways, for you nerds out there, I shot this with an orange 16 filter. Sometimes I used a circular polarizer, like when I was in the surf, to help darken the skies and everything, especially of the water as well. I shot it in my Nikon F6. I read conflicting reviews if it would work or not, because apparently there's like an infrared sensitive light in some Nikons that are automated. This one, no, Nikon F6, thumbs up. I shot it at ISO 200, and it got developed in C41 at Borealis Film Lab in Montreal. So if any Canadians are looking to get aerochrome developed, they did a great job. All right, so that was the nerdy stuff. Let's start talking through the photos. All right, so the main reason Jill and I moved out here was to surf. We're very big into surfing, specifically longboarding. And so I really wanted to capture that. I was struggling online to find any photographs really of of aerochrome in the surf. And so I have a water housing for my Nikon F6. And so, yeah, I really wanted to photograph the surf in the water. Now, the results, I don't know, they're okay. I think it was really hard. We surf, it's called Long Beach, and there's like one rock, and I tried to get the waves with Jill riding in the background. You'll see it's not like perfect, but I did get her with one little nose ride. No greenery in the background to really show off that aerochrome, but it's still special to me. And so, yeah, here's a few photos in the surf. And you know what? I really like this one where we're looking at, her cutting back on a wave. Looks like some whitewash, but it's just this like beautiful red in the background. And so, yeah, that one I really like. But I think one of the issues here with these photos is the sun. I was shooting basically into the sun. It was a little bit above me, but it wasn't, behind me. And I think that is what really would have happened. But, most of our beaches face west. And so that would be challenging. Maybe I should have went out at like sunrise. But I guess the problem is everyone was like, oh, with aerochrome, you have to shoot it at like 12 o'clock, high noon. You know what I mean? You know what? I took a couple shots at like near sunset, golden hour. They turned out totally fine. So as long as it's sunny, I don't think it has a major issue. And oh, finally that sun's here. That's warm now. Okay, so yeah, here's the surfing shots. Again, I'm happy with them, but I just wish the sun was behind me. And here's one photo. Now I think this was maybe after Jill got out, or maybe a later date. No, it must have been after Jill got out, taking a photo of Long Beach, one of our favorite beaches to surf at. So that was really nice. Okay, and so originally I had this like perfect day planned, and I very quickly realized it's not all going to happen in a single day. And so what happened next is, I think the very following day we had a stretch of sunny weather, and these were all taken, I think it was around early September with these photos. Right now, we wanted to hike up a local mountain nearby. It's really cool. Usually there's some snow and it has like these jagged peaks, and it was sunny when we left town. And then by the time we got there, it's like an hour drive and I don't know, probably an hour hike up. The clouds had moved in, and we ended up waiting there for like, I don't know, another hour, just waiting for the clouds to move out. But as you can see, it didn't. But there was still enough, sunlight and everything to really turn everything red, which was super cool. And so this photo Jill actually took. I'll show you another photo of like what the jagged peaks could look like. So again, if I got another roll of aerochrome, I'd love if the peaks were showing, but it's still a mysterious photo because I know what's behind there. Maybe it's not as cool to you, but since I know the jagged peaks are hidden behind that fog, it's a little bit interesting. So then we had lunch at this spot, and it's really beautiful with this like red lake. And again, the fog was moving in, but there's still enough foliage coming through, and I like how the blues glimmer here. Cool. Okay, so at this point, Jill left on a 2.5-month trip to Australia, Tasmania, and Indonesia. So I was left alone, stressing before I would go join her, waiting for sunny days, trying to shoot this roll of aerochrome. I really just kind of wanted to get it over with, as bad as that sounds. I really wanted to see the results. I really didn't want to go into winter. Again, it's super rainy here. It's not too sunny in the winter too often. And so I really wanted to get this shot before the weather window closed. That did not happen. It ended up taking me probably 6 months to shoot this roll, and I couldn't use my Nikon F6 at all during that time, which is fine, but I was getting a little stressed. Oh, some good beaches. So there's another beach nearby, and I had seen some photos of aerochrome before where like seaweed and kelp looked really cool. So I wanted one of those photos. And so this one, I freaking love. You can see all the mountains of Tofino in the background with, I don't know, this really weird, eerie, you know, seaweed on the ground that was turning everything red. And then this is probably one of my favorites. This is a classic, iconic. It's called the Cox Bay Lookout Hike. And yeah, it's just really beautiful up there with the mountains. And this is just such a unique perspective. I've hiked it before, but again, turning everything red is so cool. And I'm really happy the mountains further away, like it was a clear enough day that this was captured, and there's some waves rolling through as well. If I remember, it was really windy, but you're probably looking at the footage now. Of course, vertical and horizontal, because that's how things go. All right, and then on my way home, it was still sunny, so I stopped at a place called the Shorepine Bog. Jill loves this place, and this photo, I don't know. I thought it would be cooler. It's still like cool because it's aerochrome, I guess, but is it just cool because it's aerochrome? Yes, there's not much happening here. Okay, and then I went to Wick. Wick has these like sand dunes, and I couldn't find a composition that looks super good with these sand dunes, and I walked around for probably an hour at the sun and ended up with this photo here, again with this little plant turning red. And then since I was close to Wick, I went to another beach, and this beach, I think this is my favorite beach to surf at, but it was still, this was getting to golden hour, and I really like this photo. I was like hoping for a surfer to be walking into the water, hoping. And then who did I see? I saw my friend Christine. And so it was really funny. I just yelled at her, Christine, stop, don't go out. Like, wait, let me take a photo of you. And she's actually pregnant here, which, yeah, so cool. She was surfing while pregnant. And so, yeah, I'm glad I got this photo of Christine. It's a really special one to me, at a favorite beach with a good friend. And I like how the red is being reflected in the mirror. But again, this was at like sunset, or like pretty close to golden hour. So I don't know, for people who say you can't shoot aerochrome in the afternoons, worked fine for me. And then finally, on my way home, this is like a classic harbor. I just wanted a photo of that. Again, not too much happening here. And these are like everyday photos of me, or not everyday photos of me, but photos of every day that I like, that I'll often take, or locations I often shoot. So it's really fun for me to see it with aerochrome, because I know how it usually looks like on film. Okay, so that was the end for a good chunk of time. You know, it got pretty ugly out where it was just raining a bunch, and I'd be constantly checking the weather, and then it's like, oh crap, I gotta work if it was sunny. And you know, the locations left on my list were like further out of town, different locations. And so, yeah, mid-roll check-in, I just wanted to get it over with. I wanted to get the rest of my photos. And so this next location, Jill and I had actually scoped out on a really rainy, foggy day, and she had taken a photo of it, and we made a deal. Jill could take like a few photos on the aerochrome. Even though she bought it for me, she was kind enough to gift it to me, but we still made the deal. Like, she loved aerochrome, I copied her, I started loving it after she loved it. She was the one who bought it, so maybe it's her roll of aerochrome, but she gifted it to me. Anyways, we made a deal. So she took this photo on like a really cloudy day of like, Andy, go here, take this exact photo. It was really challenging to find the exact scene we were looking for, but this is just kind of like a nearby creek or river. Yeah, it's a river. Yeah, so at this point I was still like, this roll's just taken so long to shoot, and I still wasn't really sure what to expect. But was having fun experimenting, and it was just really fun to work on a project. Kyle McDougall's really good with this. Like, he always has a project going on, and you know, I mainly just like, oh, it's a beautiful morning, I'm gonna go out and take photos. And that's kind of what I do. I don't put so much intention behind it. I'm often like, oh, let me just bring my camera and see what I can capture, sort of thing. And so this was my first project, and I see what he means now. It's really fun just to like stay so focused on like one subject matter, one film type, one camera, something like that. And so halfway through, I was really enjoying it, but I just wanted more sunny days, and, you know, wanted a week off with pure sunny days or something like that. Okay, so this next one's kind of in the same location. This was my photo. I don't know, kind of blew it out. But this one, yeah, I waited here for probably an hour and a half waiting till the sun got a little bit lower. Really happy with how this one turned out. I guess the sky could have been a little bit more blue, but the water with the trees in the background, I think is really neat. And again, kind of one looking at it, then I swam across, took this photo as well, looking back to where I came down. This one's really cool. This is Kennedy Lake nearby where we live as well on the way home from that last location. And so, yeah, these mountains in the background. I'm not sure why the one on the right got so like faded or washed out, but the one on the left I think is really neat. And so this is just like a beautiful, again, this was golden hour. All right. So then I left to Australia, Tasmania. I thought about bringing it because I was like, oh, that'd be cool. We're doing a pretty neat hike called the Three Capes Track in Tasmania. That'd be pretty epic on. And then I was like, no, I don't want to risk it getting x-rayed or, you know, carting it around. And yeah, so I left my F6 at home, left, and then I got back, and my last idea or my last thoughts for this roll of aerochrome was I wanted a flight. I've taken several seaplane flights around here, and it's pretty epic views, and I thought, how fitting would it be from a seaplane, which, you know, aerochrome was intended, maybe not from seaplanes, but from a plane, right? It's like an aerial photography film. How fitting would it be for my take on that from my location? And so I was waiting and waiting and waiting for an opportunity to fly again, like sunny conditions, winter, it's not too busy around, so it's kind of hard to get a flight. And then my friend Dan, there's a really big herring spawn here in March, and every March, and my friend Dan, who's a pilot, suggested we try to go up and photograph some photos for the tourism board, and it ended up working out. And so I didn't tell Dan at the time that I had this, you know, weird experimental film, and I was so stoked because herring spawn, what it does, you'll see in these photos, is you can see the sperm from the spawn turns this like milky turquoise color. Is that weird to say? Oh God. Well, it is what it is now. And so this first one was a little washed out. It was really cool. Dan took the door off, so usually in seaplane flights it's really hard, like you got to make sure there's no glare, especially at noon. There's always like a little bit of glare, just it's hard to photograph. But Dan took the door off this plane, and what a unique perspective, and I am stoked on these photos. I'm so glad it worked out. And so you can kind of see a little bit of herring spawn in this bottom section here, but it's just like our mountainous terrain around here is so sick, and then it just looks like we're on Mars or something like that, which is exactly what I was going for. And so I'm really, really happy with these photos. This one, I don't know, kind of crooked. It's harder than you think in a seaplane plane, especially when there's no door and you're terrified of heights, but that's fine. I also had a couple other cameras around my neck at the time. This one I think is especially epic, like this red aerochrome with the blue herring spawn is really neat. And so I'll probably print some of these. I am especially stoked on these final ones. I wish this one I just waited till Dan had lifted up the wing a little bit more. I think that would be super epic, but all in all, I'm pretty stoked on this one. Yeah, I guess this would be my conclusion. I would love to shoot aerochrome again. Would I pay $500 Canadian on eBay for like a mixed bag? No, absolutely not, because you just don't know what you're getting. Although it's tempting. It's tempting. But no, I should not. I will not. If a raffle comes up like this again, absolutely, where it's been tested, you know it's coming from a good source, oh man, I would love it. Because it was just so fun to work on a specific project, doing this shot list, doing a perfect day. And so I wouldn't do a ton different. I think like look for those epic scenes. In my opinion, like I really wish I had more hiking with the mountains, or a seaplane flight with like the glacier kind of style mountains, where there's those jagged peaks, there's snow. And so that's what I'd probably try again. And maybe surfing, I'd try to get more, like the biggest thing I think is like backlit. Make sure you are backlit. And so, yeah, I wish I did that, but overall, I'm still pretty stoked with like that lookout hike. The seaplane flights really stand out in my mind as like the photos I'm happy with. And so, yeah, it was just really cool. I think it like lives up to the hype. Again, I would struggle to buy it for like $400 or $500 if I don't know the source and don't know if it's been like tested and like working well. But if you do get an opportunity, I really, really recommend it. It was just super fun. And it's such a unique perspective. And like, unless you're a photography nerd, you know, like most random people are like, what the hell is that? That looks weird. You know what I mean? But for photography nerds, I think it's especially cool. And that's what we do. Take photos for other photo nerds, right? It's not other people that care too much about our photos, or at least mine. Yeah, so I don't think I have much to say. It was just really interesting that like, man, I'll never get a chance to shoot this again, and I don't want to screw it up. And it's just like, okay, what is my perfect day on this film? And going through that. So I don't know. It's just interesting. Like there's a finite supply of aerochrome, right? Like they stopped making it in 2009. It's getting more and more rare. I process it in C4. It's technically not E6, but it's like a positive film, right? Which doesn't age as well. Like you can't just adjust your exposure as easily as like, you know, a color negative film. And so there will be a day, unless, you know, aerochrome's made again somehow on photographic film, that it's all gone. And so I'm really thankful for being able to have captured some moments in my world, in my life. Glad I got Jill nose riding on it. And those are like 36 photos I will cherish for the rest of my life. So that is pretty cool. Shout out to Jill for securing that roll of film. Thanks for watching. Hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully you liked the photos. Yeah. What a beautiful morning. Cold too, look at that breath. Beautiful morning.